So I want to describe my trip to Zion National Park that I took with three of my friends, Akil, Basit, and Gary. The trip was pretty spontaneous. I wasn't really involved with the planning of anything. The only thing I really knew what to expect was that it would be crowded. Paulina actually had sent me a TikTok of how crowded it gets at Zion.
Into the thick of it.
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 Oh.
Oh!
Even after seeing that TikTok, I don't think I was really prepared to see so many people. So we get to the parking lot, we rent some equipment, and we wait in line for a shuttle. There's kind of a big line in the shuttle, but we were kind of being optimistic with how long we'd have to wait. 30 minutes? Minimum? At least now we're not waiting in the hot sun. It took about an hour and 20 minutes to finally get on a shuttle. But whatever, we get on our shuttle and we get to sit down and it's a crowded bus, but the views are amazing. Gary fell asleep on the bus ride though, so maybe it wasn't as nice as I thought. So our first stop was in the grotto, which gets us to the trail that gets us to Angel's Landing. So Angel's Landing is actually a hike where people have died before. 13 people have died. Oh, dang. Since 2007, 13 people have died.
That's why they call it Angel's Landing.
But my group doesn't seem too scared about that. Very early on the hike, Basit liked to take a lot of pictures and stop us.
Want to come stand here? Or let's stand over there and take a quick picture.
The tree will get in the way, dude.
Yeah, I think we should honestly.
Let's go
it's kinda
further.
narrow.
Let's go
somewhere-
further.
Yeah, I don't want people.
So we eventually set a time limit for pictures.
Yeah, that's not what I did though.
God, Basit, calm down.
We're just setting a 1 hour time limit for next pictures. 30 minutes?
How about till we
Basit is
find-
literally...
Go, you guys. I'm gonna keep up
How,
with you.
how about till we find the next different view?
Yeah. So after about 10 minutes, I'm already starting to run out of breath and start panting. The incline is pretty steep when we're on the hike. And luckily we do stop for water breaks every once in a while for 30 seconds. There's a series of switchbacks that we get, which is basically a bunch of zigzagging back and forth to get up. And that gets me really out of breath, but we get to stop every 2 switchbacks. And so that's kind of nice for a little bit, but man, I was exhausted.
Oh, we can see the shuttle, dude.
It looks so cute, doesn't it?
The shuttle looks tiny. So after ascending several hundreds of feet, we get to a section of the hike called Refrigerator Canyon. It's actually a cooler part because there's some shade to protect us from the sun. And there's not as much of a steep incline, so it's kind of nice to take a break. We actually get through this part pretty quickly with no problem. By the end of us getting through Refrigerator Canyon, we've actually gone up 1,000 feet. For comparison, the Empire State Building is actually 1,250 feet up. So we do go up a lot in a relatively short amount of time. So after a nice break, my calves are destroyed by going through 21 switchbacks before we get to our final stop. And these are steep as well. And we had the genius idea of powering through everything. We stopped maybe once or twice on the switchbacks. So I'm dying. My calves are dying. And they don't care. Whatever. We get through it though. Hey, we did it, guys. We made it to the line. Oh, this is a nice looking view. We get through it and we get to a part called Scouts Lookout. So Scouts Lookout is actually the last part before you get to the top of Angel's Landing. So it's about a half a mile and it is actually pretty crowded that day. So we actually decide to skip that part. So we have a quick lunch and Scouts Lookout, take some cool pictures and just get to relax basically. And then we decided to head back down, and going back down is actually a lot nicer. We had the trekking poles help us go down because then our knees weren't getting as destroyed like our calves were going up. So that's nice, and we pretty much go through most of the descent pretty quickly, except we do stop to take more pictures because of course we do.
But see, take a picture.
Wait, stay here. And do it before people come.
Okay, there's the wide angle.
Oh, sorry, go ahead guys.
Video. Can I come back for the video?
Alright, they're waiting for you, Basit.
I did the video.
Okay, take
I did the
it.
picture.
Sorry.
Okay, you're fine.
Wait, what? You're one with
No,
the
no,
earth.
but see, do this like where you're like looking far, like. But yeah, just try, give it a try. It might be good. It might be good. It might be good.
Christopher Columbus.
Oh my God, no, but see.
Right here.
Basit, remember the statistic?
It's fine. You're not gonna fall all the way down. There's like oh, never mind.
So when we timed ourselves, it took us about 2 hours to get from the start to Scout's Lookout and back down. So we definitely powered through it, and I felt like we powered through it because I was exhausted the whole time. But very beautiful. Highly recommend. I would definitely do it again, slower paced, and would probably finish it by doing the last half mile, but it's very beautiful. So we get to the bus stop area where we started our hike, and we pretty much take a 30-minute rest and just relax before heading to the Narrows. So the Narrows is a long hike where your feet are submerged in water and possibly your knees, maybe even up to your waist or even more than that, depending on the time of the year. So it's a little hard to get through, and you definitely need or are highly suggested to take some trekking poles because it's hard to step around. The rocks are kind of big and slippery, and so you see a lot of people slipping around in the Narrows. So after about an hour of actually hiking to get to the part that has the water, oh, that's cold! Doesn't take us very long to start taking pictures, of course. Sure. So are we gonna step on the easy rocks, or? Looks like you guys want to go to hard mode. Hey guys, you guys are being a little slow.
Not a race. But if it was, we'd be winning.
We get really tired. It's harder and slower than going through Angel's Landing because the water is just a big slowdown for everyone. And everyone's stopping to take pictures. And it's crowded. Here's where you see way more people trying to get cool pictures and just experiencing the Narrows. So on our hike in the Narrows, the water starts to get up to our butts. And not only that, we think it's starting to show signs of raining. And there's a small risk of flooding. And so I think we started just kind of panicking internally. And so we all agreed to turn around after maybe about 30 minutes. We did not last very long in the Narrows. So we finally get through the Narrows and we replace our shoes with drier shoes and we head our way back, and we're so excited to get back and rest in our Airbnb. And we slowly start realizing that everyone is trying to head back when we're also trying to head back. So there's a long line into the shuttle. It takes us about 40 minutes from standing in line to get to the shuttle to finally get on the bus. And it takes us another 35 minutes on the bus drive to get back to the parking lot to get to our car. And it felt like forever. The sun is finally out completely and we're burning and I'm exhausted. Everyone's exhausted. So that was definitely hard, but we get through it. We get to the parking lot and we head home. And that's basically our trip to Zion. I mean, there are a few other things we did. I mean, we went to Vegas the next day. We didn't really gamble, but we mostly drove around to take more pictures, of course. And we got to hang out a bit, but thanks Akil, Gary, Basit for the trip. I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the clips. Let's do another trip next year.